Is this the beginning of the big changes that were predicted? Mostly by Edgar Cayce, that's the one we noticed the most, who shared his visions of places going underwater, not just here in the United States, but globally. Well, I just went through a hurricane. Fortunately, I have everything except for internet, so I'm going to sit here and shoot videos for you because I realized something's different about this one. I want to share it with you. I'm going to talk about those predictions, what they mean for you and I both in a very big way. I've been talking about this, but if you aren't doing something to change how we've been living, you will not transition into something that is actually amazing happening. I know it doesn't seem like it. I assure you, I'm going to discuss why that is. You ready? Let's go. Welcome to Landria, Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through fears and live amazing life. I posted a video on how you can awaken. Boom. Awakening takes you into a completely different reality, different dimension within the matrix. That's just how it works. When you shift your frequency, your energy connects to something completely different, which creates a different connection, right? We entangle with other things. That's how it works. Why didn't that get many views? I usually rank from 1 to 10. It was a 10. That's a bad number on YouTube. Why are people more interested in the cataclysmic future that people are talking about than how they can become totally awakened and live heaven on earth? Well, as much as heaven on earth can be. I'm going to explain right now what's going on. So if you like these cataclysmic predictions, well, this is your video. But I'm going to show you how you can use that space, that high frequency, to transition while we're going through it. Okay, so first of all, as always, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe. When you subscribe, things change for me. This is actually what I do for a living. So those of you who are irritated by ads or creators promoting their stuff, you don't realize we're trying to make a difference on this planet, doing good things. And this is how we support ourselves, okay? I'm not going into a place that's serving chemicals. Now, I'm going to talk about that today too, because this is a very important discussion that we're going to have. There are change makers, people that are stepping into that space that's a little uncomfortable. This is one of them. Not everybody's going to agree with you, but I'm going to tell you what's more uncomfortable is the world we've been living in that cannot remain the same. It's not static, and so many people out there are trying to stay in that space, and then they argue and they get upset and point fingers and become more separated to try and protect that space that they think they're supposed to be living. This is how things are. But that world has shattered. It's already shattered. And so there are big cracks and openings. What do I mean by that? The energy field of the planet and the matrix that we all decided to play out, the frequency is going up. And this has actually been documented by, I think it's NASA, and there's some other amazing organizations that monitor this stuff. The frequency is higher. This is just a fact. What does that mean? Well, we can say whatever we want about it, but I'm telling you right now, I know that the frequency of the planet is raising. Us as a collective, it is going up. Why? I'm listening to your comments. I'm seeing what's going on out there. I'm seeing the people like myself who are stepping into changemaker roles and not listening to the noise and saying we have to make changes in our lives right now. It's not when you get pushed. Well, a lot of people got pushed. So if you saw my video, I actually shot the hurricane coming through. It was actually 100 miles off the coast, the Gulf, 100 miles. Yet my surrounding areas are totally underwater. In fact, the bridge across to St. Pete Beach and Paso Grill, it's day 4 now, and no one can go across unless they live there, and they can prove they can. They have the police guarding that. Why? It's not just underwater. All of the sand got pushed up. Things are changing. Those who have lived here for 50, 60 years said that they've never never seen anything like this, yet it was just a tropical storm. It was the surge that happened, and that's the water part. That was a prediction of Edgar Cayce and other people. Didn't happen. He predicted it would happen long ago. One thing that we cannot predict is time. Now, I had a really, really amazing psychic. This was like 30 some years ago. We did it for fun because I don't go to psychics. Why? Because I control my destiny. They can tell me anything they want, but I'm creating it. So if they told me something and they're off, I might go away with an uneasy feeling. You can create your own reality. There's no situation you can't change. You have to say, what don't I like about this? I'm entangled. What can I learn from this? And what do I need to do to change it? It's really that simple. But what I want you to know is that there are people who have great abilities, yes, but you're still in control. So you have to ask yourself why you're going to them. Do you feel like you don't have control? When I went to see her, she predicted absolutely everything in the last 20 years has come true, except for one. I'm still waiting for that one. Now, she said some outlandish, cray-cray stuff, and I thought, lady, okay, and she said, I hope I know you in 20 years, and I'm thinking, 20 years, when you're 30s, 20 years, 50s is like, ancient. I went, I'll be dead by then. But she talked about my book, The Rooftop Christmas Tree, which is a movie. It's on Amazon Prime. You guys have seen it before. Yeah, she talked about it. And I thought, okay, but here's what she said, and I want to share this with you about predictions and what's going on here, because I'm going to talk about these floods. She said, there's nothing I say that cannot be changed to some extent, or if not completely. She said, so if I tell you you're going to have this publication, it's going to be really great for you, and people will know you for it. She said, if you don't write the book, it's never going to happen. So a lot of times we hear things, we sit back waiting for it to happen, and this is where we don't fail. This is where we have the misunderstanding that something else is doing it for us, okay? So we'll sit back and go, oh, I'm going to get $1 million. I'll sit here and wait, and oh, oops, you were supposed to go to the grocery store and buy the lottery ticket. This is what I want to share with you. It's time for action. Now, I've given you a lot of predictions on things that are going to happen, but not the specifics, and this is the other thing. She said that time cannot be told, nor specifics. She didn't know, based on certain things that she saw, when it was going to happen. She had to go by how she saw me look, how old I was. If she saw a 10-year-old Landria, she would say, oh, there was a trauma, when you were younger, and she'd have to guess what that age is. Now, if she saw me in a situation older, she guessed 20 years older, right? She sat there and thought about this, and this is what would happen. But she told me, I cannot tell time. I have to go by, estimates of what it looks like, your age. I didn't know that because time doesn't exist. So when Edgar Cayce made those predictions, he's talking about cataclysmic Earth predictions, what's going on the planet. Do we have some control over that? Yes, we do. If we didn't, then we wouldn't have American Indians that go out there and do the rain dance and then it starts pouring, because this has been documented. If you've ever seen Greg Braden talk about his friend, they had a drought in New Mexico. His friend takes him out and they do this thing. And Greg Braden's like, that's it? He's like, yeah, let's go have lunch. He's expecting some big thing. He says, all of a sudden clouds started to come in. Well, here's what happened. Yes, it started to rain. It started to rain like within a couple hours, and it didn't stop. And then they got floods. So yes, we can interact to a certain extent. We don't have full control over it. And so his friend said, well, there's a little glitch. He goes, we know how to start it. We're not quite sure how to stop it. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what he shared. So I want you to know you never have control over nature, another person, anything. completely because we are interactive and all connected. So everyone else's decisions is going to have some kind of impact on you. You still always have 100% control over your decision and your response to that. So even if people make low-level frequency decisions and bad stuff happens, let's say people get upset, you look at our elections, you can anticipate there's going to be a group of low-frequency people that think they have to fight for something. It's done. What are you going to do with the circumstances? Well, if they battle things, the ego wants their way and they're going to battle things. What are you going to do? You can either participate, you can battle back, and then you're on their level. So this is when we have to start making higher decisions. Now, here we went under a flood, blew everybody's mind because if you saw my video, it was no big deal. I mean, yeah, it actually wasn't anywhere near what most storms are like when they come in. Yet the surge was so devastating, and we know that is the butterfly effect, because we know what's happening with our glaciers and ice melting. We've seen how it's affecting the animals up in the North Pole and every area on the planet. We do have global warming. It is not just humans doing that. She's going through a metamorphosis of her own, just like you and I are. We're going to get older. Something's going to happen. We're going to take whatever exit we choose, and we're going to transform into something else. Another butterfly opens up, and that's just how it works. She's going through that right now. So we have no control over her evolution, her transformation, because eventually she's not going to stay here forever. Now, she will be here for our lifetime, okay? But we will see the changes, just like when you get older, people have hip issues and arthritis and all these other things that happen because we're interacting in a very dense world, and that's what causes all these things. Density creates spaces that are not perfect. They are pain and fear and sadness and loss and pain and all these other things happen for us to experience. This is part of the trip. So, but we say, oh, this shouldn't be happening on. So we're in fear. This is happening. It's part of what you signed up for. Strap on your seatbelt and go, woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Okay, wow, okay. It doesn't feel good to see that my neighbors go underwater. If you saw that video, I kept filming it. By the time I got done, they were underwater. It was up into their homes. These waves were crashing up, and I sat here, and it didn't even breach our beach here. And I'm pretty far up from the beach, relatively speaking. Why is that? Are there coincidences? No. And so I think about the other places I could have chosen, or any other decisions I could have made. Everything's exactly the way it should be. So now we're going to see some effects that we have created, and also she's just going through transformation. Don't try and guess this global warming. It's humans. If we stopped all fossil fuels and everything, it would still be happening, all right? But here's what I want you to know, is through all of this is part of the test of our response. So they wouldn't let anybody over this bridge. I walk the bridge. Usually I go to Don Cesar. I don't know if you've heard of that, on St. Pete Beach. I couldn't even watch the bridge because they didn't want anybody over there, just the residents, because it's still underwater. And I thought, they're doing that obviously to control things, but, we're going to have, like I said, like even with our elections, people that rebel because they're wah-wah babies that egos didn't get what they want. Or we're going to go into community and say, okay, here's what happened, here's what we chose. So how do we work together? What is it we all do want? What is it you want that you didn't get your way with whoever goes in the office? I don't really give a crap, to be honest with you. And so how do we work together? So what is it you'd like to see happen? Can we compromise and create a world that works for everyone? Yes, we can. And not everybody's going to get their way. And that's letting the ego go. I mean, there's so many things I would never want to see. Fast food places, factory farming, all these things. And some of you eat meat and have no problem with that. Go into one of those factory farms, visit it, and tell me if you're still going to eat that meat. There are other ways. You don't have to stop eating meat if that's your thing. Go to a farm where they're treated with love and not pumped full of chemicals and shot up and abused. Then you'll feel a little bit better, and then you're going to lobby for and support that, and then we shape the world in a different way. So as the floods come in or whatever, some of us will have to say, okay, do we want to stay here? Do we want to take that chance? Maybe we'll move. It wasn't just Florida, by the way. In fact, other parts, we had Alabama, Tennessee got hit really bad. They had floods. North Carolina and also Georgia got hit really bad. Some entire neighborhoods went underwater. Okay? They had just as it went right up the coast. It's not just Florida. You guys, why are you living in Florida? I said, what? You have no guarantees of anything. I'm not going to live my life in fear. So you have to decide, what is it you're willing to do? What is it you want to do with your life that's going to make an impact that's very positive? Because all these things are going to happen, and you can run away all you want and you'll never escape it, because there are no coincidences. There is a pathway that you chose and that you are playing out right now that you don't remember because there are things that you wanted to learn and get better at, right? You wanted to take certain classes when you got here. If you knew what they were, it wouldn't work. There wouldn't be a test, right? This is what's going on right now. So we will see acceleration of all these things. And I said to one of my friends, well, we have another hurricane coming in. I looked, it's not going to be anywhere near us. But I said to my friend, at what point do we make a different decision? I said, I'm not ready to leave here yet. And I think no matter what happens, I'm okay with it. So you have to be ready and okay with the consequences of whatever decisions you're going to make. If you're making fearful decisions, protecting the self, and not going to community and say, we need to prepare for this in a different way. These things, including when we went into lockdown, these things are allowing us the opportunity to create communities that will now work together so that when these things come in, it's not so cataclysmic. There's not one person out there by themselves and another. We come together and we prepare for things, right? We have foods ready. We have shelters ready. Not just, emergency stuff. We start to live that way. So I'm telling you right now, yes, we're going to start seeing things. Now, I shared with you a while back, I did not see the kind of cataclysmic things so much that humans were doing. But I did tell you that there would be some planetary challenges. I told you that was definitely going to accelerate. But I don't see any human ones that are up to the, let's just say, the space where we've gone to in the past. I don't see it. I think there are way too many people stepping up into peace that will start to work together to end some of these things. Now, it's going to take time, and we can't control the egos and the money, but yes, we can start to step into that world, and I'll tell you how. You guys know, this is Digital Explorers. People like myself, there's a lot of us out there, are creating businesses that change the planet, that change lives, that help you earn money, that helps us not control money, but become powerful with our own abundance so that we can make more powerful decisions on a higher frequency. Not to battle anybody, but if we are making high decisions and people support our high decisions, we can put low decisions out of business. And they'll just have to make higher decisions if they want to get in the game. That's all. We're not doing it to be mean. We're doing it to give ourselves a healthier lifestyle and choices. I work with any entrepreneurial-minded person. Doesn't matter what your background. I'll show you step by step how to take something you love, even if you don't know what it is. We work on that. It's blowing people's minds. It's changing their lives because they said for the first time, they're seeing life different, focusing on things that they love. And the sad part is, most of my students don't know what that is. Shouldn't you, as a child, be able to explore the things that you love? We don't reinforce that. The new generations, we will start to enforce that. Now, there's a bunch of generations behind us, I'm speaking from my age, behind us that don't care about the planet. They don't care about a lot of things. They also don't care about the material world, which isn't a bad thing. But there's a generation behind them that is going to really focus on the planet, a more peaceful world, one that isn't about competition and conflict, but really creating something beautiful. I see that, but there is a gap between my generation that basically screwed up the planet, plastics and all that stuff, and the me generation, right? And there's quite a few behind us. And then it started to transform, but it got a little screwed up because, you know, who these people are back here? We're their parents. We're the parents. So there's, you know, there's a little bit of a trail behind us. I'm not saying everybody's like that. There's some amazing people. Some of them are my students. But they see the world differently, and they know that they have to be the change maker to their own generation. It's happening now, I see it, but we cannot expect that to happen if we don't give them options. Now, I have a lot of experience. I spent 20 years as an investment banker, and I spent about 12 years online creating online businesses and brands. So guess what? I have the experience. I have the years. I have the trail of learning that I can share with somebody, but I'm making higher choices. So the things that I'm teaching them are to go into a higher space. So a lot of people, they learn things like, okay, I went bankrupt. I'll never do that again. Here's how you buy up stock and, you know, and buy stuff, chemicals and things. No, that we're not doing that. We're making higher decisions like, okay, we can flourish. We can stop making these mistakes. And that is, how do we do this? We can change the world making higher decisions with abundance. We're going to show you how to do that, you know, and change your life. And you will feel that you have stepped into a new world that isn't going to be easy. But I'll tell you what, when you live in the other world and these things start to happen, you'll realize you're being pushed to make a decision. And if you go into fear and you're hanging on to stuff or arguing with people or separating, pointing fingers that somebody's wrong, no one's ever wrong. And if you think that, then you don't get that, oh my gosh, thank you, who sent that over, that, you know, and I'll put the quote up here again. I actually kept it. It was so powerful that I am the creator. I created peace and I created evil. You know, the light and the dark. I am the creator of all. So if you're pointing fingers, you're not getting that that's part of the game. That's created by the creator so that we can play it all out. It'd be boring if we sat around and everything was perfect. You say, okay, I had a friend, she was saying, she's probably watching this, I won't say your name. She was saying, when you grow up with narcissists, I said, I see my friends that, you know, date narcissists, or were married to narcissists, and then they go and date the same guy over and over again, and you're like, hello, red flags, did you catch those? But she said something that I think is very true. She said, you know what? It's exciting. I said, you know what? You're right. People like that excitement. They like jumping out of a plane. They like bungee jumping. They like climbing Mount Everest, even though they know they could die. That's part of the fear. We can break through it, but you don't want to eliminate it. It makes life exciting, but let's make the higher choices. Let's get to the top of Everest. Let's get the team together. Actually, Digital Explorers is about climbing up the mountain, getting to the summit and seeing something beautiful up there. And it isn't without its struggles, but if you prepare yourself and you work as a team, you're going to make it up there. And you have to have your Sherpas with it. I actually have digital Sherpas that assist us. Right? We don't have to create all this stuff we don't know about. There's no technology training in this. We got digital Sherpas. Everybody coming in with all their skills and talents. We're going to create something amazing for you. It starts here. So whatever's happening out there, just start to make your own personal decisions, not out of fear. And say, okay, maybe it's time for me to change my life, because guess what? I'm without internet for day 4. And my last 4 days had changed drastically. And so I realized, so by the way, there isn't a closet or a drawer in my whole condo that isn't absolutely perfect. So I'm covering lampshades with pillows, ripping pillows apart that are tattered and pulling the materials off and putting them on lampshades. And I thought, wow, I probably wouldn't have done this for months if I didn't have this time. You're going to get some opportunities because of these things. And you're going to have to shift how you live. And it's not going to be a bad thing. So yes, the things are going to start happening, especially the things that he predicted that were about our planet versus wars and things like that, because we're in control of that. We're in control of how we interact with each other. But again, I can't control you, and I can't control the planet, but I can contribute to it. Start contributing to it. What are you doing with your life? What are you learning? What are you looking for? Are you still chasing money and stuff and whoever you think should be in office? Then you're handing your power over, and that's real too. Nobody takes your power, my friend. You're equally as important. You're perfect. You're absolutely perfect. My friend said to me, she said that, you know, she has some anxiety and stuff, and I think I shared with you, we were having our little cocktail out on the deck that's now gone and it floated away. And so I said, she says, you know, people are telling me, you know, just, you know, you have to deal with this. I said, you know what you need to do? She says, yeah, I know, everybody tells me, start thinking positive. I said, no. I said, nothing. She said, what do you mean? I said, you're perfect. And she is. And people aren't seeing that. She's going through, her life experience comes along with some of those trials and tribulations and anxiety and some of those things. That's part of her working through things. She's perfect. Amazing, perfect, beautiful friend of mine. And I see her as perfect. Can you look at the other person and realize they're supposed to go through that? And how they react to that is still their decision. We're not here to slap the baby every time it falls down. No, you help pick it up. And you say, okay, you know, I'm going to let you walk on your own because you have to learn. But I'll catch you when you fall, and maybe sometimes I won't be there to do that either. But that's okay, you'll get back up again. We all do. You are whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. I'm going to put another product at the end of this. I want to keep showing you guys all the amazing things I'm using. All these things are in my Amazon store, so I am an affiliate of what you're going to see here. The shampoos, the stuff I use in my house, it's amazing. I mean, I just feel the difference. There's no chemicals in the air, but it's clean and beautiful. And by the way, Mother Nature does a much better job than the toxins we're putting together. So I'll continue to show you some of my products that I use. And of course, I love my hair with it. You know, sometimes when you're washing your hair, it feels a little dry. That's because there's no chemicals going into it. It's actually, boom, itself, and then you allow it to curl and shine and do whatever it is. There's no chemicals. When you put all that other stuff, you're coating your hair. And actually, it's doing more damage than good. So let's start living an amazing life. You guys, when you go into either one of my lists, this is more the spiritual, you know, mindset and all this stuff. This is my business, Planet Conscious Businesses. When you go into there, you'll get introduced to people that I work with, two brothers who are off the grid, but they're businessmen. They gave up a company, actually lost a company during the lockdown, and went and bought all this property with an investor, and they realized, wait a minute, we can teach people how to do this and generate money. They started generating 30 grand a month in 5 months, and now they're teaching other people how to do it, how to obtain property, you know, zero down, zero credit. That's how they did it. But they have to have a business plan, so let's not be stupid about this. Woo-woo's gone. We're business people. We're artists, we're creators, and all of it contributes, and none of us have to be these broke, struggling people. And sometimes that's going to happen, you learn from it, but let's support one another. All right, so I hope you'll buy my book. Speaking of, purchase my book. It is now audio. When you go to that link, you have a choice for audio. It's on there. So you guys were like saying, where's the link? It's on there. You can get it free if you're a member, Prime member, or it's, I think, $9.99 if you want to just purchase it, and you can listen to it endlessly. It's a lot of fun. I chose a British accent, not mine. Somebody else has read the book with a British accent. It's beautiful, and I think you're going to enjoy it. I think it'll help open some doors for you. There aren't really any doors, but we're going to open up the false illusions that we chose. We're going into a new world, and so it's time to start making some decisions and accepting what's going on out there. Let's work with it. It's taking us to a beautiful place, or not. It's your choice. You are unconditionally loved. You are perfect. Namaste. Well, you hear me talk about cleaning. Did you know there are tons of toxic chemicals in those cleaners that you use? And so I use Blue Land. I am an affiliate. And here's a bathroom cleaner. If you click in the description, you can go to my Amazon store. You can actually click on the bathroom cleaner. It smells so good. It cleans great. And you'll have many other choices with Blue Land. I love them. And here's the thing, they don't come in plastic. They will give you an initial container when you first sign up with them, a container that's glass, and then everything else comes in paper with tabs. And you put it in water. It's amazing. I highly suggest it.